everybody! The other day I was looking over some of the recent videos I've done and I thought, wait, I have not done a top 5 bottom 5 in a really long time. So I thought I would do that and I felt very ready and prepared to do one on Revlon. I try to do these videos when I feel like I've tried a lot of what a brand has to offer, and then I just tell you what I think are the brand's 5 best products and their 5 worst products. And Revlon has been one of those brands that has had a lot of like all over the place with me. Sometimes I rank and go to an ultimate like number 1 out of my top 5, but considering I do have a few demos kind of to insert in here, and the fact that I feel like it would be kind of like apples and oranges to compare a couple of these things and rank one above the other, I think the things in my top 5 are equally strong. So the first thing I'm going to mention is my Revlon Colorstay liquid makeup. And I know they are selling this with a pump now, which is super exciting, of course, but I have this in the normal to dry skin formula. I wear it in the shade Fresh Beige. I'm wearing it today, and I think back to my earliest days on YouTube and how everybody was raving about this foundation. It's still out there, still on the market. It does come in 2 formulas, and for a while I was in that oily to combo formula, and I did feel like it was extremely long wearing. However, the drawback of that one, if you are not maybe truly oily, it can look kind of dry on the skin. It's a very matte finish, and I have just been finding I love the way this normal to dry version looks on my skin, and I'm very normal right now. You know, a few dry areas that come and go. It blends out easily. Today when I applied it, I just dotted it all over my face and then blended it out with a beauty blender. Works great with a brush as well. A flat top kabuki brush I think gives maximum coverage for this type of a foundation. And what I think is kind of cool about this, particularly in the normal to dry skin version, is that it's a matte finish foundation that is also catering to that skin type. Whereas I feel like for a lot of people with dry skin, you might think your only options out there are getting something that is a luminous finish. What if you don't like a luminous finish? What if you've got like a lot of uneven texture on your skin and you feel like those types of foundations just exaggerate it, but yet you have dry skin, so you need the formula that works. This would be a dry skin formula that actually does have a nice matte finish on the skin, and the staying power is tremendous. I mean, that is one of the biggest points in this foundation's favor, and I've tried a lot of foundations, lots of drugstore stuff. This normal to dry skin formula reminds me a lot of one of my favorite drugstore liquid foundations of all time, which would be the Rimmel Lasting Finish. So I think this continues to be a fantastic option and one of Revlon's best products in their brand. Now, another foundation that I really like, and this would be number 2 in my top 5, is their Revlon Colorstay Whipped makeup. Now, this is not whipped to the extent that Maybelline Dream Matte Mousse is, you know, you like look at it and you can see this really moussey texture. When you open this up, it looks like a cream, you know, and this is about half used up. I've got this in the shade 320 Warm Golden, and it's too dark for me right now. I was not able to demo this for you, and frankly, it's probably a little bit on the old side. I've kept this for like reference of the way it feels and stuff like that, but not really for use. But this foundation, I feel, is very comparable to regular Colorstay in terms of coverage. It has nice staying power, but I think even more of a natural skin type finish. It's not quite so matte. It's not glowy, I'm not saying that, but it's not matte either, and this foundation has always been one of my top picks when people ask me what photographs well. Indoor, outdoor, I don't care what it is, this foundation looks fantastic in photos. I think pretty much any skin type can get away with wearing it, and you know, it just does have this slightly lighter feel as it blends out on the skin compared to the liquid. But as I've thought about this one more and more, I kind of want to repurchase it in a shade that really fits me right now. It truly is an interesting formula in that it is a cream, but it's got this lighter consistency compared to a lot of like cream compacts, you know? But I have seen this last really effectively on oily skin in a summertime wedding in the South. This has also performed really well on dry skin too, but I would say if you consider yourself to be one of the most oily people ever, I think your best formula from Revlon would probably be the liquid naked in the oily to combo formula. Okay, third product I would like to mention is one of the best pressed powders in the drugstore, period, and it's the Revlon Nearly Naked. I wear this in the shade Light. This line of powder tends to run a little bit dark, but it is some of the smoothest, creamiest, just best consistency of a powder that I have seen. I mean, the texture is so smooth. And given that it has that smooth softness, it is able to give a little added coverage to the skin. It can mattify without looking like powder, really. I've really gotten into using this a lot more lately, and I'll just take my e.l.f. complexion brush and sort of dab it around my face, and I feel like it just is the ultimate perfector, you know, on top of a foundation. It really looks exceptionally skin-like. I would say a downfall would be the shade range. The most similar thing to this is probably the L'Oreal True Match pressed powder. So if you really like this idea of how I've been describing this powder, but you feel like your shade is not out there, you might look to L'Oreal True Match pressed powder because it does feel kind of similar to this. This is maybe a teeny bit softer. Number 4 in my top 5, and like I said, these aren't really in any particular order, but just, you know, products I love would be the Revlon Super Lustrous lipsticks. These are so good. These are one of the most overlooked and underrated products in the drugstore. Some of the shades in this line have been around for decades. Like, there are iconic shades that continue to be available. It is a broad shade range, a broad finish selection as well. You can see whenever you go to buy one of these, you look at the butt end of that lipstick and it will tell you the shade name, the number, and whether it's a cream or a matte or a sheer or shine, actually, is what one of these is labeled. But I mean, you have a lot of options here. It's definitely a line of lipstick that's worth exploring. The price per lipstick is not ridiculous. And I have just run into so many shades that are absolute must-haves. So I'm gonna run through those for you. I've pulled out 5, and yeah, I could have done more. First one I want to talk about is actually their matte finish of the Super Lustrous lipstick, and this is in the shade Pink Pout. I think this is a really pretty cool pink, and it's a fun shade to blend as well. If you want to nude it up a little bit more, you can blend in a nude or spice colored liner, but it's a nice creamy matte lipstick. Then the shade that I'm wearing throughout the video is one that I've discovered I think within the past year, and it's the shade 130 Rose Velvet, and this is a cream finish. The cream finish is probably my favorite overall of the Super Lustrous lipsticks, and Rose Velvet is so wearable. It's so easy to just throw on. It doesn't really interfere or clash with other colors that you might be wearing. It's very neutral. It's a deep neutral with some dusty rose mixed in. Great feel on these lipsticks. There's that little bit of shine. Just fantastic. Next one I want to talk about is Rich Girl Red. I have talked about this a lot. I think anytime I have a red lip oriented video, this one comes up. This is labeled as a shine finish, and it is a little more sheer than a regular cream finish, but it feels a lot like the creams. And I love the color of this because I think it's a soft, non-intimidating, slightly warm red. I think it's a perfect spot-on summer red because you put it on and it's not so opaque that it totally wipes your lips out 100%, but it's just more of a casual red, you know what I'm saying? Now, people who are really familiar with this line and have been over the years, the ultimate, maybe iconic shade from the whole selection might be Cherries in the Snow. That is a really, really long-standing shade, and this I think of as not a true red. It's like a pinky red. I am so going to work this into some looks for the holidays because it's glamorous, it's bright. In this video, I am putting out there my commitment to making use of this shade throughout the holidays. And then the last one, which I know I've talked about a lot, is Black Cherry. Black Cherry is amazing. It can go so full on, so dark, applied straight from the tube, but a great way to customize the amount of depth you get from this shade would be to apply it with a lip brush, because you can do just a sheer berry stain almost look from this lipstick, and it's so gorgeous. Or the way I feel most comfortable wearing this out of the house would be to apply it full on straight from the lipstick and then give myself one good blot, and I will show you what that looks like. And I feel like I still get depth. I see a little more reddish berry come through. It still feels super comfortable on my lips, but I'm not quite as concerned about like, where's this creamy lipstick gonna go? Where's it gonna end up in 2 hours? But it's a highly versatile shade, and if you have this and you've doubted that one bit, grab a lip brush, apply apply it lightly, you'll see like it's got a whole range. And number 5 on my top 5 is yet another lip product, and they are the Revlon Matte Balms. I love these. These are one of my top matte drugstore lip picks for sure. They feel really comfortable going on. I feel like my lips look pillowy soft and almost a little plumped up after I've worn these, which is a very rare and unusual thing for matte lip colors. They feel comfortable. They have a teeny bit of a minty scent, and I've got 2 top shades. My tip top one overall is Sultry. Sultry cannot be beat. I mean, this is berry, it's mauve. I could see this shade so easily working in a professional environment where you're thinking, okay, I don't want to wear like just light soft neutral every day. I want something with a little more depth, but yet the color as a whole is kind of muted. You know, it's not going magenta. It's not going really dark berry. It's just a really nice spot. I kind of feel that way about the Rose Velvet lipstick I've been wearing throughout the video too. You know, it's just very universally workable. The Matte Balm and Sultry though has more pinky berry to it. And then the other shade that I really like in the Matte Balm is called Fierce. And this is like a right now color. I think it's very fall. It's like your brownish brick red. It's got a lot of gorgeous depth to it. But as much as I like these colors, I think it's just an easy texture. They apply so evenly, and I think your lips just look better for having them on. Now we're gonna move on to the bottom 5. And the first one I'm gonna talk about, like, this is hard because this was a product I really swore by in my earlier makeup days, and I feel like makeup has evolved. Drugstore makeup particularly has changed and improved, and it's just gotten beaten out, and it's very, very obvious to me that I think this line of eyeliner needs to step up their game. And I'm talking about the Revlon Colorstay pencil liners. These are retractable liners, one in sapphire here. I remember trying to use this in a recent video or a video not all that long ago, and it just, you know, dry. Why? It shouldn't be that way. There are so many great retractable or pencil liners that go on like butter and then they smooth out and can be smudged out and then set. Okay? Yes, I expect a lot out of an eyeliner, but I think it's time for Revlon to get on that level. Next up, these multi-palettes. Anybody remember when I did the full review on all 3 of these different eyes, cheeks, and lips palettes? Not impressed. These are verging on like a $20 price tag, and I don't think they're anywhere near worth it. You're getting 6 eyeshadows, a blush, and 4 lip colors. 2 are more like lipsticks, 2 are like a shiny gloss. And I feel like the shadows, you know, the deeper shades have some intensity. The lighter shades, not so much. There's like 1 matte shade, a bunch of like just mid-tone shimmers in this Romantic Nudes palette. The blush was not showing up on me. I'm not wowed by the lip products that are in here. And I just feel like they lumped a bunch of stuff together that was just really average to below average. They've got a berry one. They've got a smoky one that I think just for the fact that the colors are darker in there, they do show up a little bit better from the smoky palette. It's most definitely something that I would not recommend dropping nearly 20 bucks on at the drugstore. Another eyeshadow related fail from Revlon would be these crazy little shadow links, which love the concept of making your own palette, being creative, choosing your shades, but I did a video on these way back when. I actually had to dig this out of my fail drawer in my closet where I keep some fails just for reference, just for situations like this where I may need to pull them out. And I can tell these are being phased out because I'm not finding them everywhere online. I'm not seeing them everywhere in drugstores, but we're talking just lightly pigmented shadows that do not blend well, apply well. There is this kind of pop them together, slide them in gimmick that you know, it'll draw me in. But this eyeshadow formula, ultimately the formula, the shades look decent at a glance. If those were pigmented, that would be nice, you know, but this was not one of Revlon's proudest moments, I don't think. The 4th product in my bottom 5 would be the Ultimate Suede lipsticks. These are one of the few Revlon lip products that just did not resonate with me at all. I dug through everything I own and I cannot find them. I must have checked them the last time I did like a big makeup purge in here. So I'm sorry I don't have a visual aid for you, but I will try to describe these as well as I can. They are a lipstick. They will apply and make you think you've got like a creamy thing happening. But very differently from your super lustrous lipsticks, they have an odd like wouldn't call it total dry down, but a dryness develops in those products that I find to be very annoying and uncomfortable. I've had some shades in that line that had a little bit of frost in them too, and that did that formula no favors either. Revlon has developed a high standard for lip products, in my opinion. They've got good lipsticks, they've got certain glosses that are good. The super lustrous glosses I really thought were at their prime when they were in those squared off tubes, and now when they had the changeover to the rounded tubes, I think they lost some good shades. They sheared out some different shades, and it's still a good formula, but it's a little more hit and miss than it used to be. But as a whole, Revlon's got a lot of great lip products. The Ultimate Suedes, I think, stick out like a sore thumb. And number 5 in my bottom 5 would be this PhotoReady Prime and Anti-Shine. And Revlon, you are not alone in being a drugstore brand that cannot pull off this anti-shine balm type of product, because it's really like, Mally Face Defender is the only thing that can really do this well. And it's a product where it feels almost like, I've compared the consistency or the feel to a clear deodorant, and you twist your sponge onto it and you just dab it right on your skin, and you get like this immediate mattification, kind of pore concealing type of effect. But the magic in Mally's product is that, number 1, it's clear. Number 2, the consistency is spot on, so that you're never gonna pick up too much product out of there, because getting too much of a balm on your skin and putting it on top of your makeup can look just like a really bad cakey mess very easily. And so I've seen multiple drugstore brands put out something like this. First off, this is not really clear. It's kind of creamy, and it actually will look white if you get enough on your skin. And it's so creamy, it's hard to keep from picking up too much. And then when you see that translate like on top of your skin, any little dry area, it almost creates its own dry areas that you didn't know you had, because suddenly I'm seeing makeup more. Yeah, it may not be shining, but good Lord, I don't want to look at it, you know? They need to turn it into much more of like a solid product, a clear product, something where you're only going to get the bare minimum picked up on a sponge, and then it's going to do the job and no more. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this shed some light on both some good and not so good from Revlon, in my opinion. Perhaps somebody else had an awesome experience with some of those, but I didn't. But the things that I love, I really, truly, and deeply love from this line. So thank you guys so much for taking time to watch, and I will see you very soon. Bye. But wait, real quickly, I almost forgot about this. I made a few notes on my list about a few things that I thought were just outside my top 5. One of them was my PhotoReady concealer stick. I think that's a really good concealer. I'm not sure I find that stuff to be quite as creamy as the new Almay Age Essentials stick concealer, but they're close. Also, if they were still around, the Revlon Skin Lights. Why does this product like come and go from their line? It's a great liquid highlight, and if you ever see that come back on the market, I would say snatch one up. And then my eye look today, I used one of these Revlon Colorstay quads. This is in the shade called Enchanted, and I just want to say, like, Revlon eyeshadows aren't all bad. There are some brighter ones that they've put out that show Revlon knows what a good eyeshadow is. Like, there have been some nice textures and nice pigmentation in some. This one was very easy to work with. It worked just fine. I'm not saying these are like a favorite or one of the best things in Revlon's line, otherwise they would have been in the top 5, but I know I really critiqued the quality of the eyeshadow in products like this, and I think they're overall better in these quads. Okay, now I'm really done. I'll let you guys go. Bye.